Hey, how is it going, YouTube? It's Rich. Everyone. I hate referring to you all as YouTube because it's not accurate. You're all individuals. So anyway, sorry I didn't get this up yesterday. I've been going through my comic book collection, honestly, in my books and trying to organize stuff. I need to it's not just that. I'm trying to clean like a garage and storage and really get it organized, and part of that process is actually just like getting my books and stuff in order. It sucks having a really nice collection of stuff and you just don't know where chunks of it are, you know what I mean? And like, as organized as I've tried to be over the years, it's just so much stuff to keep like in line. So I'm working on it. But yeah, I kind of got caught up in that, and then it definitely burns you out, man. You do 4 or 5 hours of that, like going through stuff. It's like, and it wasn't just comics. I was moving stuff and trashing stuff. So anyway, I was nearly gonna do Frank Miller, Dark Horse Presents, like the original Sin City run. I think it's kind of fun to see it in those comics as opposed to like a collection. So it's such a like pivotal like time and place, and that is actually before I started collecting comics. Anyway, on the same shelf, there happened to be a pretty decent chunk of my Michael Golden collection. This is definitely not all of it, but I thought it would be fun to look at some interiors of Michael Golden and then also some covers. And I know for a fact that I've done at least one other Michael Golden video. So, you know, Golden is an interesting artist. He's very, very detailed. And highly influential to people like Jim Lee, to Arthur Adams. I know Dan Fraga is a big fan. You know, he really, really does fun stuff. It's very detailed. And let's check this out. So with the Spartan, this Jackie Chan Spartan X, when the books were originally coming out, they were coming out in color. And then just kind of out of the blue, they started doing black and whites of them, which at the time, you know, really wasn't that common. So, of course, I had to get them. And what year was this? So this is 1998. So Michael Golden pencils and then Armando Gil inks, which is interesting because Golden, he does ink himself a lot. But, yeah, so let's check out this stuff in black and white. It'll be fun. I mean, you can see the level of detail already, and even though that this is way, way later than when Arthur Adams probably was initially getting into him, I mean, that has a little bit of that vibe if you've seen Art Adams' sequentials. Michael Golden puts a lot of black into his work, and has really, really amazing compositions. I know when I was first exposed, look at this. This is so amazing. We'll kind of take it in real quick first, then I'll talk. He's jumping on all those warheads as this guy shoots at him. Jason Pearson is another one. I think I had posted, it was a Gen 13 variant cover by Pearson. But yeah, I remember when I was looking at Pearson's stuff, it immediately made me think of Michael Golden because I know he was a fan too. But isn't this incredible? I mean, this is really orchestrated well. I mean, the amount of time that he spends like laying this stuff out has got to be pretty, you know, a big part of the process because, you know, and I think this stuff is just so cool in black and white. And, you know, what's nice about a black and white comic book like this is, I mean, you can run down to like your local print shop and just make like a big photocopy of it. I used to do that all the time, for things that I kind of wanted to study a little bit more, just see it full size. Because I think sometimes when you see stuff in the comic, you know, it is shrunk down, and you can get a sense of scale of the drawing itself when it's bigger. And I think anytime you can kind of pull the art out of the comic, it's always a good idea. I actually will sometimes take color comics and try to remove the color in Photoshop. I'm getting pretty good at it. Depends on how it's done, how the colors were originally laid down. But I like to see the pages in as close to black and white as possible. So it sometimes degenerates the line work a little bit, but it's more about the overall feel of the page. I think it's just such an important part of comics is what the stuff looks like in black and white, because you set it up for a great color if you're going to have a color book. Yeah, these are cool. I haven't looked at this stuff in a long time. I think we maybe went through a little bit of this stuff in the last Michael Golden video, because I know generally I spot these books, and I think they're interesting because they're just a little different than a regular comic. I know I always pull out like Nam #1, because Nam #1 is just such a great comic book in general. I love people that this isn't like so detailed, but cool exterior shots of homes I think are always kind of neat in comic books. The car is so funny. It's so small. Okay, so let's do this. We'll look at like 2 more pages of this, and then let's check out some covers, and we'll keep this video varied because we're 7 minutes in right now, but sorry, I was going a little fast. Man, that's such a kick-ass panel. Dun, 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 dun. Oh my god, look at this. This is so good. Watch this. This gets super crazy. Man, that's such a nice panel. And then this. Look at that. This one comic is pissing me off. It keeps sliding out from underneath the other pages. Oh my god. Okay, let's just here. Look at this. This guy is nuts. Armando Gil had his hands full. I'll tell you that. When these pages were coming in, he was doing work. It's funny. I've seen caves that actually look like this. That's funny. This is really cool right here. Okay, so let's shut this comic. We're going to look at a few covers, then we may hop back into that book. So this is a Micronauts cover. I actually ripped it off the comic. Shame on me. I don't know what was inside. I can't take the blame for it. This was a long time ago that I got this. Not when it came out, but... man, that's so cool. If you've never seen Mike Ploog stuff, you may like that too. Ploog. It's not exactly like this, but it's got a little bit of that vibe. And it kind of makes me think of Bucky O'Hare, which Michael Golden did in Continuity, Echoes of Future Past. I think you can find Bucky O'Hare, Hare, like a rabbit. I think that they did collections of it, but it's pretty cool stuff. It's got a little bit of that like sort of Rocket Raccoon sort of thing going on. I guess it was, I'm just going to guess because I wasn't collecting comics at the time, but I think Howard the Duck got really big at some point, and then a lot of comic books were trying to sort of get that sort of vibe, the like funny animal, but maybe blending with superheroes. I showed this cover in the last one. So check this out. This is crazy. Mine's a little messed up, but you have to see the die cut on this cover. It's ridiculous. Like look at how intricate that is. Is that crazy? I don't even know, like, how they do that and then get it on a comic without destroying it. It's wild. And then they got, like, this almost looks like Neil Adams. It probably is, because it's a continuity book. or someone that draws like Neil, but this is a Golden cover. But yeah, Michael Golden's covers are pretty distinct. You could definitely, I mean, he's got a few different iterations of his stuff, but if you see color schemes like this, which kind of now are sort of coming back in with the cyberpunk sort of like 8-bit, like lo-fi, there's a lot of like super like fruity colors and stuff. I like it. I think it's actually kind of cool. It's sort of, it's different for at least the moment, but yeah, Golden would always use lots of like pinks and purples and blues and orange. I mean, it's like, you can see it's pretty wild palette. But and then you see those heavy blacks and super graphic read, and you kind of know it's a Golden piece. That's so kick-ass. A lot of energy, man. That's great. Not just because it's an explosion, but that Ghost Rider pose is super dynamic. And you know, I talked about this before. I mean, one of the reasons that the Ghost Rider thing I think feels so like kinetic is it's not super defined. I mean, it is and it isn't, but there's a lot that sort of you just see, and you kind of form what it is. I think it's a pretty effective way to get like sort of energy. Like you start refining things too much and it can start to look a little overworked. This is another Micronauts cover. This is nuts. Bam, 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 bam. His stuff is fun too because if you look, I mean, this is an older piece, and some of the stuff that we're looking at, that's weird. Is that like a printing thing that they did? The barcode? I don't know what that means. What does that mean when they do that? I've never seen that before. Or maybe I have, but I just don't remember it. But yeah, it's kind of weird. Don't scan the barcode. But Golden, the way he'll light stuff is kind of cartoony. And Bachlo, Chris Bachlo is a big fan of it, but stuff like this, like on the gun, like these little lighting cues, they're, you know, it's just stylized like light sources. J. Scott Campbell will do stuff like that. I'm not saying he got it from Golden, but you know what I mean? It's just a way to sort of indicate form and kind of like a, I don't know if it would be considered a double light source or whatever it is, but it's like one of those things that people will sort of memorize and then use. There's more covers here. This is kind of cool. It's funny because this boy reminds me of, there's a character from Continuity called Timmy? Something. I can't remember what it was called. It was one of their books. It sort of looks like him. This is Michael Golden and Joseph Rubinstein. That's crazy. Rubinstein inked a lot of really good people, man. Frank Miller, Jim Lee, you name it. Like, that dude was like inking everything. He's quite a good illustrator, honestly. Like I'm not on Facebook that much anymore, but when I was, he would do a lot of like painted portraits. They're really, really good. The guy's super talented. And this is Rubinstein too. Yeah, man, God, these would be money in the bank if he kept them. I mean, these aren't the greatest Michael Golden covers ever, but still is Golden and from a pretty cool era. And then check this out. This is nice. Again, you can see that color palette. This was, he did a couple of years of stuff like this. He would switch it up though. He had this sort of array of colors, and then I'll show you like his greens one. And you can see him, like he did 4 Team 7 covers for Wildstorm, and kind of each one has like one of his palettes. Like the first one sort of leans a little bit more this way. I can't remember what 2 looks like, but one of them, I think 3 or 4, has got this sort of one where it's the greens, yellows, and it's interesting because they don't say on the cover if it's black and white or not. That's so weird. Okay, so this is the black and white version. Look at that. That's so good. Look at that pant leg. Man, it's so kick-ass. The whole thing. So good. This is much more complicated lighting. This isn't like he evolved like tenfold from those Micronaut covers to this. Like, he just was like, all right, I'm going to go nuts. That is so kick-ass. So much energy in that shot. Wow. Trying to see what this stuff is. What's this? Oh, okay, this is a continuation of that. Jackie. He really did an amazing job with this book. It's like, oh my god, like look at this. That's so cool. You know, I mean, it's so hard to do a book that has a likeness, and especially, like, I'm guessing that, was this through Topps or something? I guess it's only through Image. Sometimes these are, like, there was multiple licensee holders when you do something with a celebrity or you know, something that maybe is based on a movie. The approval process can be pretty brutal. And there's a lot of people giving you feedback, and some of them, as artists, will complain, like, they can't even really, they don't, you know, they're not artists, they don't really know how to explain it. You could argue that, like, they don't even know what they're talking about at times. But you have to appease them all, so it's like, it can really make your stuff, it kind of turns things vanilla, because someone's saying, like, oh, you know, I can't tell what that is, and so you make that clearer, and then, you know, oh, can this be bigger? And all of a sudden, you know, you're kind of taking some of the interest and kind of cool factor away from stuff, depending on how much it gets sort of pushed and pulled. So I'm trying to turn the pages without damaging the comic. Yeah, these multiple shot jumping and things that he's doing are really, really cool. It's kind of cool, like how he doesn't put a panel board on that one shot, and then he kind of extends him over it. It's like a pretty cool little storytelling beat right there. And then his hands breaking the panel border there is nice. And even this like rock extends past the panel. It's an interesting choice, actually. Okay, so let's do this. We got a lot of books to look at, so we've seen this cover. Oh, and this was kind of like one of the other palettes for the Team 7 cover. It was more browns with yellows and blue to purple. I'm going to pause this 1 second. Okay, I thought it would be kind of interesting. Let's look at a little bit of this in color really quick just to see. The city beneath Jackie Chan on this particular shot looks like it's from a photo, but it also looks like he drew it. So he may have lightboxed a photo on this. Because, I mean, you've seen, like, McFarlane, like in Spider-Man, do stuff like that. But Todd just drops the photo in and doesn't really rework it. This is all definitely hand-drawn. So he may have used a similar process, but he did actually the work too. And I could be wrong, but it looks to me like it might have been at one point sort of derived from a photo. But then you can see here like how different this is. See, well, and here's an interesting thing, and I'm not nitpicking on Golden stuff, but for people that want to draw really detailed, you do kind of need to keep things consistent. I mean, this is a cover, so I can, like, let it slide. But, like, it's tough. It's tough to have the energy and time to do, like, every window and make everything look super realistic. And so on this, he did just kind of more the core shapes. It's still a really, really cool shot, but, I mean, there's like no detail in the windows. Now, does it matter? Not really. But if what issue is this? This is issue 2. You want to make sure that your language is consistent. That's my point. It's just whatever you're gonna do, make sure that you can carry it through, because you don't want to like set the bar excuse me, on like 1 or 2 pages and then you gas out, because that looks worse. It really does. And especially if you work in order, where it's like the first like 6 pages of your book are like this one style, and then you like are just like, oh, no backgrounds, none of this and none of that. I mean, it can look like you maybe had problems. So you want to keep your storytelling and your budget. Spend your budget on the whole book, you know. whatever that means to you. This is my own advice. You don't have to take it. You can tell me to fuck off. It's fine. But his buildings seem pretty consistent in this. It is a little weird to not see windows on him, though. I'm not sure I'm a big fan of how he's drawing the buildings, but did he? No, Gil did. I would have put the windows in personally. I think that it would definitely look a little better, like here, like this. But you know, look, dude's working very, very hard on these pages. So for me to like sit and just sort of like be looking at the comic and being like, he should have spent more time on this. I always say it's like, you know, it's a lot easier to be an armchair quarterback on this stuff than to do it. So okay, let's move to another book because the color is okay. But here's another Micronauts cover. This is great. Funny structure on the characters though. Like that's an interesting body type on that middle figure. But these are cool. You can see how much more, well, it's not really simplistic, but like look at the lighting on this guy. It's nuts. The blue guy. And he has the most fanciest signatures ever. And I'll show you something kind of fun. Is he didn't totally hide it in this one, but you can see it right there. But he does actually like kind of slip his signature in the pieces. Look at this piece. It's so great. So this is a Marvel fanfare. I think I have 2 copies of it here. Greedy, right? Look at that. That's so cool. Yeah, this should give you at least a little bit of an overview of what Michael Golden's about. And if you see any spots or eras of his stuff that you like, definitely go on like Wikipedia and look him up and try to hunt some of these down because they're really, really cool. I think he actually did a story in this, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he did. Let's see. I think he did. There might have been a couple of issues. This is Kazar, whatever. I don't know how you say it. I think it's Kazar. That's so cool. So that's really cool. It's so loose, God. But you could see how Jim Lee might have been influenced by this. This definitely has a little bit of like a Jim vibe. But it goes both ways. I mean, you know, a lot of these people, you know, you're looking at other stuff sometimes, so I'm sure Golden had his own sort of stock of favorite artists that he was into. I've never met him. I don't know him, so it's one of those things where I'm just a fan who... I don't really know anything about him. I don't know if I've ever even read an interview. That's really cool. I think I might have seen a short interview on YouTube with him, maybe in the last year, but it could have been older too. But I think I did like look him up. He's funny looking, but he's cool too. I think his head just looks crazy. This guy too. Oh yeah, what's it gonna be? Super fun. It's sort of Super Fun Monday though. I blew it. I mismanaged my time yesterday. It was late, and I was like, I kind of knew. I was just like, just do it tomorrow. It's okay. This is actually a pretty long story. I didn't remember that it went this long. I would have guessed it was like 8 pages. But I'm nearly sure that there's a second book with either more of this story or maybe a different short story. Man, this is awesome. Well, I love that. That is so cool. Man, that is such a sick panel. That's really cool too. When I get all my Michael Golden organized, I'll do another video. I've got so much good stuff. I had a book way back that, like before Wikipedia, that was called the Comic Artist Index. And so I would hunt down everything, and it was pretty accurate, amazingly enough. I don't know how the hell the people that put it together did it. Yeah, it would be like, you know, Michael Golden did 3 pages in this book, and he did a cover here and a pinup here, and they had it all documented. And man, I would just go through back issue bins and be like, oh, where's like blah blah blah, like just random books, and it was cool. So I was able to find a lot of stuff that now again you could just use Wikipedia. All right, let me pause this and move these books. To me, though, I will say this, that there's nothing funner than owning the comics. It's one thing to find a digital file of it, which is, it's nice, it's convenient. I mean, I get it. But I love having the comic books. I mean, I think it's just so fun to be able to pull them out and just hang out and look at them and flip through them. And, you know, you're getting, like, the best scan possible. So this is with it colored and stuff. Let's see who colored the book. I'm just kind of curious. This is a nice page. This is pretty, not super detailed color, but those are nice cuts, though, that they did on the face. I have to say that, like, you know, that sort of more peachy color, or kind of a rosy thing, and then you got the flesh color. It's not bad. I'm sure Golden he's probably pretty particular. Digital Chameleon and Dan Brown. So, this is so crazy. This roller coaster stuff is so nuts. I love that he would draw all this stuff. It's so crazy. And there's so much more character to it, you know? It's so cool. Even if it's not accurate, it just looks great. Man, this guy's so good. The colors are great on this. I actually think it's kind of fun. I'm seeing more pages. It's a really cool panel. Man, it's like, it's got a little bit of like a Kevin Nolan vibe. That's really, really nice. Damn. Okay, so we're at 30 minutes. We got like 3 more minutes and this video will shut off on itself. So I'll say goodbye now just in case it closes out on us. My camera's not super consistent with wire when it doesn't. So we'll look at a couple more of these covers. So this is another Micronauts cover. It's Fun Anatomy, that old Marvel style. This is another Micronauts cover. Oh man, that's pretty cool. That guy is like totally, look at, he's twisting his torso. You see his upper body compared to his legs? It's cool. You got this. Oh, we'll end on that. We should definitely do a super fun Sunday on Kevin Nolan. I have a really, really nice Kevin Nolan collection that is like covers and just everything. He's great. All right, I'll talk to you later. Have a great day. Bye.